Our 90-day all-access package is always incredibly popular at the start of football, but we've made it even better. Not only do we discount the 90-day all-access package to $7.99, but until August 29th, we've added 30 days. That's right, until Sunday, August 29th, you get 120 days of the most action-packed sports month for only $7.99. That would include the rest of the NFL preseason, all MLB plays through the World Series, the entire college football regular season, at least 15 weeks of the NFL, over 2 months of the NHL and NBA, over 6 weeks of college basketball, plus any soccer, UFC, Asian baseball, Asian basketball, golf, and any other sports your favorite capper releases. The most action-filled 120 days of the sports year are yours for only $7.99.
Welcome in to First Pitch for Friday, August 27th. I am Drew Martin, your host, joined by Dave Cokin and Bryan Leonard from WagerTalk.com. Guys, we got best bets at the end. I say that first because we're 9-3 on the week, looking to keep the good times rolling. We got 4 games on tonight, the Friday night full slate here on the Diamond. First up, Dave Cokin, WagerTalk.com, #1 handicapper for 2021. Check him out, experts page, Dave Cokin. Dave, happy Friday to you. Welcome to the show, buddy.
I'm sure it was good, whatever it is. As you can see, I have a lap full of cat right now. If you notice the ad at the beginning of the show, 120 days all access, that basically takes you through the entire regular season in college football. That's been a great sport for me. #1 all time at Wager Talk, both net profits and winning percentage. Baseball's going really well right now, so you get everything for the next 120 days. It's a substantial commitment, but I think it's well worth it. So check it out.
Check it out, Dave Cokin. Hopefully, Bryan, next one up, you can hear me pretty good. Bryan, happy Friday to you. Welcome into the show, buddy.
Yeah. Call me back, by the way.
Doesn't look like we got Bryan's audio going, and I think we got to call Dave Cokin back. So I'll go solo here, and Robert, let me know when we get the guys' audio working well. But guys, we got 4 games on tonight's slate. We got best bets that have been going very well. So I'll start it off here. We're heading to the NL East and getting the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets. Rich Hill and Espino going for the Nats. Espino, 34-year-old Panamanian, decent numbers on the season. We got a total of 9 here, and the New York Mets laying -200 at home at Citi Field. Look, Rich Hill, the lefty, the veteran lefty here for the Mets, he's not a guy that I've really looked to be betting on this season. So this one, for me anyway, would be really only looking towards the underdog in the Nationals, and that's kind of a tough proposition at this point in the season. But looking into it, Rich Hill, he's not been great since the trade from the Tampa Bay Rays. And I really put this game on the schedule because Bryan Leonard earlier this season brought up the fact of Rich Hill, maybe a little bit of a locker room issue. And it's also one of those things you got to remember. Whenever the Tampa Bay Rays are in a trade, I always look for them to kind of win that trade because they've done it so much in the past. And sure enough, dealing Rich Hill, I was like, man, maybe Bryan Leonard's onto something here with Rich Hill kind of having some problems, maybe off the diamond and it coming onto the diamond. So I've actually looked to fade him and getting a huge plus price here on the Washington Nationals. -200 for the Mets. And looking at the Nationals here, we can get a +180 right now at the Wager Talk odds screen. That's the way I would go at it. The Washington Nationals also very good against lefties. So in terms of lineup versus the handedness of the pitcher they're going to be facing, I think it really favors the Washington Nationals here. Espino, again, decent numbers on the season. He's not going to light it up by any means. Now, we do have a Mets bullpen advantage in the later innings here. So I would kind of shorten that down to a first 5 look and go towards the Nationals on the road tonight in the NL East. 7:10 is the first pitch for this first game that we're talking on the slate. So that's my take of it. The Nationals at the plus price in the first 5 innings is the way that I would look. And I think we got the guys set up here audio-wise. So, Dave, I'll throw it over to you. We get the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets tonight. Do you have any interest in betting this one in the NL East?
No, not at all. I don't want any part of Espino, who I think was getting by with marginal stuff, and the hitters have started to figure him out. His numbers of late have not been good. I'm not laying $1.80 with Hill, and I don't want any part of the Mets as a big favorite. So I mean, if you're looking for a stab, I guess you can take the Nationals, but there's just not enough there for me to back Washington at this point. I think they're mostly just playing out the string. There are some teams that are out of it that I'm seeing a lot of enthusiasm out of. Royals, Marlins, a couple of others, where Tigers certainly, where there's still some excitement, even if they're not going to contend. I don't see that with the Nationals. I think they're kind of a flat team that just wants to get the season over with. And the Mets are kind of moving into that direction themselves because they can't beat anybody. So I can't lay $1.80 with the Mets, but I really have no interest in backing Espino. He could be the guy that warms up the Mets' bats.
Yeah, that's a way to look at it as well, Dave. And Brian, as we were getting you guys set up on the back end, I said I put this game at the leadoff spot because of a thing you said a while ago in terms of Rich Hill maybe being a guy you look to fade, maybe some locker room issues there. And sure enough, the Rays traded him. And I always look for the Rays to kind of win these type of trades just because they've done it so much in the past. So looking at Rich Hill here for the Mets, he hasn't been good in what is 5-ish starts since being traded over. I would actually look towards the Nationals at this big plus price, maybe shorten it to the first 5 innings because they are giving up a little bit here in terms of bullpen rankings in the later innings. But interested in your take here in Citi Field tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I'm with you, Drew. I see no reason not to take Washington here. I disagree with Dave a little bit because Washington's got a lot of young guys on that team now getting a chance to play. So anytime you've got young players near the end of the season, they haven't given up on the season. This is their career starting. And they've got half of their lineup guys that weren't on the team earlier in the year. So Washington, to me, talent-wise, no, they're not the most talented team. But they are a team that, to me, continues to go out and play because they have such younger players. Dave's right about Espino, though. He has not done that well. He started off pretty good, but he's not. He's probably number 5 starter for most teams if he's that. But Rich Hill's not any better. Rich Hill coming over here to the Mets, and I thought it would be a little bit better for him because he got to face the pitchers over here in the National League, and the hitters aren't quite as good in the National League, and he still has struggled. You take a look at the bats here. Over the last 30 games, the Mets have a 78 WRC plus against righties, and Washington's hitting lefties very well at 122. So that's a pretty large advantage here. Offensively for Washington based on what's happened in the last month. From a starter standpoint, I really don't think there's much difference between these two. Hill's got the better pedigree, but he's not pitching better now. And I just think it's a situation here where the line is just way too high. There's no way in hell I'm playing the Mets the way they're playing at a $2 favorite. And the only 2 wins they've had are when they were about to be swept by the opposition. And they got that game, the last game of the series. Last 3 series, they won twice, and those were after they were already down 2-0 in those series, so they were avoiding a sweep. So I can't lay this number. I can see why somebody would not want to play Washington, but there's no way in hell I would want any part of the Mets here.
Yeah, total agreement here, Brian. As guys, we got 3 games left. Rough start to the show, but we've turned it around. We're rolling now, and we're heading to the ATL. San Francisco Giants at the Atlanta Braves. We get Kevin Gausman and Max Fried, Max Fried, looking at his numbers this morning, man, is he bringing the heat the last 4 or 5 starts. Seeing a minus $1.25 here for the Braves at home, 8.5 the total. And to tell you the truth, Brian, I'm kind of surprised to see the Giants at a huge plus price, winning 5 straight, 41 in 25 road record. I'd be looking to bet on the Giants, but Max Fried, you can't deny he's been really good of late. What do you think of tonight in the ATL?
Yeah, it's not a huge price for San Francisco as a dog. The last 2 days I've been surprised by the line, and I've made money on the Giants the last couple of days. But, you take a look at what these pitchers have done as of late. Last 7 starts, Gausman 5.17 ERA, Max Fried 1.57. I know a guy is about to go off when I tried to trade for him, and they won't trade him to me. And that was Max Fried. I tried to get him earlier. He's having a lousy season. All of a sudden, I didn't get the trade for him in our fantasy league, and of course he goes off. And that's the way it should be. You should be ahead of where these guys are going, being able to see the changeover before it happens. And that's what's been going on. The Giants playing great ball. Hate to go against the Giants here, but the Braves were rolling until they ran into the red-hot Yankees. And Max Fried at home is a lefty against this San Francisco Giants offense, which doesn't hit lefties as well as righties. I think there's some value here on Atlanta. That'd be the side I'd be looking at.
All right, looking towards the Braves at home. And what do you think of tonight in Cobb County, Dave?
Well, it's not a good spot for the Giants. They are coming out of the series in New York, which they did very well, but they're traveling, and Atlanta has the scheduling advantage here with yesterday being a dark day for them. This is the time of year where that day off can come in handy for teams. Season numbers favor Gausman over Fried, but the recency numbers are in the other direction. I'm not sure Gausman's completely healthy. I think he might be wearing down a little bit. So I think the pitching edge does go to the Braves. So that's 2 points on the Atlanta side. The only reason I didn't play the game was I didn't feel like laying the price. The Giants just keep finding ways to win games, and I don't like going. I don't like walking into winning streaks. So I stayed off the game, but I would have to definitely lean to the Atlanta side here.
Lean to the Atlanta side. And actually, Dave, we have a question in the chat box from Ranks here asking a question about the Giants game. When it comes to betting listed pitchers, should I choose Gausman must start based on the analysis? Talking about, you said, maybe he's not as good of late. Do you have any recommendation there in terms of betting listed or action for baseball tonight?
Well, you want Fried, that's for sure.
Okay.
If whatever you want to do, if you can list just one pitcher, then go ahead and do that. A lot of books won't allow you to do that. So you have to list both, or in some cases you can't list any. So it's whatever your rules say. If you have the option to just list Fried, I guess that's what you do. But then, of course, if Gausman didn't go, you'd be in a kind of a spot there. Well, no, if you just list Fried, then that's all you need. If you're betting on Fried, then that's what you want to list. Well, the way I do it, I just list pitchers because I have to give the games out the way it's most widely available. So I just have listed pitchers for virtually every game.
Okay, I see what you're saying there, Dave. And Brian, just real quick on this subject, because Dave brought up a good point in terms of just overall looking at it. The books that let you choose just one of the listed pitchers, that's a huge advantage for sports bettors, at least something I try to put in my arsenal. But most of the time when I'm betting a big underdog, Brian, I actually go action, because if they change the opposing starting pitcher, you just put that in your back pocket in terms of them reopening the line. So that's why I like action more. But to Dave's point, if you're allowed to choose just one listed pitcher, use that to your advantage, right, Brian?
I agree. But I choose listed just about all the time because a lot of my handicap has to do with the starting pitchers.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're writing out that's Dave and I both write up our reasonings on plays. There's other guys that don't. So when they give you a play, you don't know the reasoning why they're making the play. Is it because of these starting pitchers, or does that not have anything to do with it? So that's the advantage when you get somebody with a write-up. I've never understood buying plays from people that don't have write-ups. You don't know what they're thinking.
I agree.
So it's, Dave and I have been around a long time. It's harder to do. It's harder to make sense of some of these write-ups. But at least you know what we're thinking in these games. So at least for myself, I basically list pitchers for every game that I have. And if there is a pitcher that I really don't care, I will say that, you can play that action. But most of the time, it's listed pitchers.
Okay, good question there. Thanks for that, guys, in the chat box. And like Brian and Dave both alluded to, analysis there on WagerTalk.com, good deals for their client plays, and also a lot of good free information. The free plays up at both of their handicapper pages, the expert pages. So a lot to to read there and put in your arsenal to handicap as well. So thanks for the questions, guys. We got King K saying, Drew, can you touch on the LA Angels game? And actually, it's the next game up here. So, yes, King K, we can get into it now as we're talking the San Diego Padres and LA Angels here. And another thing with the action and listed pitchers, we can talk about that again here with the Angels to be determined. Musgrove going for the Padres. Padres over a minus 200 favorite. Well, right there around the minus 200 line anyway, Dave. Total of 9. What are you thinking here? Padres and Angels, Dave?
Not much. The Padres are in free fall. They're not hitting at all. They just got swept by the Dodgers. They're in real trouble right now. And the Angels are coming all the way across country after losing 2 in a row to the Orioles. They managed to stop the Baltimore losing streak at 19 and got thumped yesterday. And they've got bullpen going tonight, which is not a strength of the Angels. So this is, there's no way I'm betting on the game. If I had to make a bet, and this will sound strange, I'd have to actually take the under. Because you'll have a bunch of Angels pitchers, and hopefully none of them get killed. And I don't know that the Angels are going to do a lot against Musgrove, who's been pretty solid. The Padres' bats have gone completely silent. I mean, they just had a disastrous series offensively against the Dodgers. Absolutely awful. So I don't see how you can bet an over with San Diego right now. So if you're looking for action because you're going to watch the game, throw a beer money bet on the under and see if you get lucky. I only do it first 5 though because, and I've said this 100 times, we'll make it 101. If you're betting full game unders, you're out of your mind. Okay, I'm sorry, you're just giving up too much of an advantage. That game goes to extra innings, and you saw it the other night, 1-1. The game's 1-1, and it landed on 8. I mean, I don't know why you would. I don't know why anybody bets full game unders. I have yet to hear a good explanation for it.
Like that, Dave. You're out of your mind betting full game unders.
Well, it's true. I mean, there aren't too many games this year. I mean, I'm sure you can find games that went over early and ended up staying under. But if you can handicap bullpens this year, then you must have ESP or something, because most of them are completely volatile, and you don't know what you're going to get from one night to the next. So to me, after the starting pitchers are out, it's luck whether it stays under or not. And if it goes to extra innings, there's just too many chances of seeing exactly what happened in the Dodgers Padres game on Wednesday. I mean, you can't lose that bet, and well, you ended up with a push, but it's just extra. It's just again, I have not heard a logical explanation as to why anybody would bet full game unders. I have not bet one since they put the rule into effect, and I never will.
All good points, Dave. Brian, coming to you next. Do you have a logical explanation to bet the full game unders, and your thoughts here on the Padres and Angels tonight, Brian?
The only way to bet the full game under is if you think the bullpens are better than the starters. And that doesn't happen much anymore.
No.
So if you're a good pitcher, you're a starter. And if you've only got 1 or 2 pitches instead of 3 or 4, they put you in the bullpen. So, yeah, Dave's, I won't say it's a lock that Dave's right. I'm just saying the vast majority of the time,
right, Dave
is on the right side in that regard. And, you take a look at the San Diego LA Angels game. I don't want any part of either one of these teams. You take the Padres have just been sticking up the place. They've been lousy. Anytime you're bringing in pitchers from other teams that the other teams don't want, and you're putting them in the starting lineup, especially if you're getting hurt the first game, like it happened to the Cubs pitcher. The Padres right now, they came into the season. They had the deepest pitching staff in the minor leagues, and they can't find anybody down there to help them out. It's just been one of those years for the Padres. I don't want any part of the Padres laying $2 on the road. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care who's pitching for the Angels, and at this point, we don't know. It's going to be the bullpen game. And in reality, is there anybody in the Angels bullpen that you trust? I don't trust any of them. So this is a game. There's too many question marks out there. I don't want any part of either one of these teams. The Angels, to me, are a team that has given up. I know Trout is. They say he's going to go out on a rehabilitation assignment, but how many times are they going to say that? If it was me, I would just let him rest the rest of the season. Sort of like the best pitcher for the Mets. He's looking about coming back right now too, DeGrom, and just let them sit out the rest of the year. They're not going anywhere. The chances are they're going to hurt the players again. Start off anew next year. Let these guys get some rest, and they'll come back better next year. I have no interest in this game whatsoever.
Okay, Brian. And hey, yesterday we had Marco D'Angelo on. A really good talk. Dave was part of it as well in terms of fading the Padres and the Dodgers in the next game after the series they play each other has been a profitable proposition. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, it has been, and it might be again with the Dodgers tonight. I wouldn't be on the Dodgers in this spot, particularly since we don't even. It's going to be a bullpen game for them, and they accomplished what they wanted. So they could be flat if you have the balls to take Colorado on the road. Freeland's been halfway decent. Padres, it's a different scenario. They came out of each of the other series with the Dodgers feeling great about themselves, and so I think you had a letdown spot. It's not the case here, and I'm not making a case for the Padres, but they're hitting the road here in desperate straits. They need to have a good weekend in Anaheim. They really need to take advantage of this opportunity. So I don't know that. I don't think this is a letdown spot for the Padres after getting swept at home. But that's not. Again, I want to stress I'm not making a case for the Padres because there's no way I'd lay $2 with them right now.
Sure, maybe stay away from it. And Brian, yeah. One of the things I was gonna say is I was thinking about just rolling the dice here. Not I'm thinking about. I did personally, and betting both of the underdogs here. The Angels, big plus price, and the as hard as it is to say, the Rockies and Dodger Stadium tonight. So two big plus underdogs here, kind of using that fade. Do you have any quick things on that thought?
Good luck. I'm not doing it.
I think Freeland's a guy that I kind of trust right now. He's pitching very well. Problem is I don't trust the Colorado bats on the road. Maybe the Dodgers under.
And the thing is, the Dodgers are really hot. I mean, they're really hot. This isn't. Yeah. See, this is the thing where I understand what happened in the past, but if you look back at all those other series with the Padres, the Dodgers weren't hot at any of those points. They're on fire right now. They got Betts back last night, like they needed another player in the lineup. It's kind of like, and we'll talk about this game next. You really want to get in the way of a freight train? It might miss you, but I'm not taking money out of my pocket to bet. Again, good luck. Maybe I don't want the Dodgers in this spot, but I'm not getting in their way. They want to. They make no mistake. They want to catch San Francisco. They don't want. I don't know whether they're going to do it or not, but they want first place because they don't want to get stuck in a one-game elimination against whoever the other wild card team is. You can have the best team. One game, anything can happen. If it was a 3-game series, maybe it wouldn't be so important. But it's a one and done, and the Dodgers are not. They're not going to have any more letdowns this season. I can tell you that. If they lose, it's because the other team went out and beat them.
All good points there from Dave Cokin. Check them out, WagerTalk.com. We got one game left. Best bets at the end. Brian coming to you here, talking about the next game. New York Yankees, Oakland A's. Cole versus Manaea. 7.5 being the total. We're seeing the Yanks minus 150 road favorites here. You thinking anything wanting to get involved here in the Coliseum tonight, Brian?
Yeah, I think there's some value here on the Yankees. Cole's back to normal. His last 7 games, 59 average game score against Oakland in his last 5 starts, 63 game score, 3.19 ERA. Sean Manaea has pitched a lot of innings this year. He pitched 29 innings in 2019, 54 innings last year. He's already up to 138 in the third, and you could tell by his last 4 starts.
Yep.
He's got a game scores of 31, 32, 29, and 48. Now, granted, he did play the Padres and the Giants, but he also played the poor hitting Indians and Rangers. So Manaea's looks to me as a fade right here, and you got the hottest team in baseball with the Yankees, as Dave just pointed out in the last thoughts. It's a team, just no matter what the Yankees are doing, they're winning the low-scoring games, they're winning the high-scoring games, they're winning the blowouts. The Yankees are playing some terrific ball right now, and you're talking about standing in front of a freight train. You've got the team playing the hottest ball in baseball with the Cy Young winner, likely Cy Young winner. So I don't want any part of that. And plus, when you take a look at the history between these two teams, the Yankees, when they need to play the Oakland in a must-win games, how many times has Oakland won one of those games? Not very often. They've dominated them in the playoffs, and they're 3-1 so far this year, I believe, in this series. I don't like to lay that kind of number on the road against a good team, and Oakland is a good team, but the Yankees are the only way I would look to play this game.
All right, Dave, what are you thinking here? Freight train with the Yankees, you jumping on?
I did. This is a play. I played 2 games today. This is one of them. The other one is an underdog that I think offers decent value, and you can get that right now as a single play at WagerTalk.com or as part of an all-access package if you want to take advantage of those. The other game I played, this is a free play that I use today, and my free plays are always actual plays, so this is a 3% play for the clients. And there's a video that I put on Twitter, and it's also up on the Wager Talk website. And I took the Yankees minus a half run for the first 5 innings at basically pick 'em. I mean, I laid 105. I think maybe it's 110 now. And here's the thought process. Bryan laid out some of it. Cole he's been erratic, but his last 2 starts have been very good. So got positive form coming in. Manea's last 4 starts, 15 2/3 innings, 24 hits, 7 runs, 24 hits, 7 walks, a couple of hit batters, 33 on base in 15+ innings. And how many runs? 17 runs, all earned. That's a guy in bad form, and he's facing an offense that's killing lefties. This Yankee lineup right now, Jesus. I mean, the only guy missing now is Gleyber Torres. Everybody else is healthy. And Gleyber Torres isn't really getting missed at all because, he was a great player in 2019. If you combine his 2020 and 2021, it amounts to about 1 full season. He's hitting like 245 with 9 homers. And he's not much on defense. The kid they brought up is a better shortstop defensively. So it's all hands rolling right now for the Yankees. There's not, this isn't one of those things where I'm uncovering something nobody knows. It's pretty obvious right now. The Yankees are about as go with as it gets. And I went with them. I didn't want to lay 160 in the first 5. I'm not playing any full games. I'm playing everything first 5. So I went the minus half run. I mean, obviously got to win by 1, but I think they will. And at minus 105 or minus 110, I think that's the bet to make here.
All right, good stuff, Dave and Bryan. Guys in the chat box, Jessica's saying she's liking Dave Cokin and Bryan Leonard on Fridays. Guys can check it right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. First pitch, 1:45 Eastern. Dave and Bryan on Fridays going forward here, talking the MLB slate. We got best bets at the end, trying to give as much good information, opinion on these games. Moneyball saying, stay away games here. No, first of all, we got best bets, Moneyball. And second of all, we gave a lot of strong opinions here on the slate. I mean, the 4 games we talked about, I'm looking towards the Washington Nationals huge plus price. Got the Giants plus price as well in the Giants-Atlanta game. We get the San Diego Padres, LA Angels. That's my best bet here. And also said, betting the plus price here with the Rockies at the Dodgers, using that fade spot opportunity on the Dodgers and Padres tonight. So, and I know Bryan and Dave giving a lot of good information as well. So it's not only stay away on this show. I mean, just because we're not peppering the board on every game. But Dave, I'll let you elaborate on that before we get to best bets.
Yeah, it's real simple. If you like a lot of action, subscribe to one of those they're baseball. A lot of handicappers who use modeling, and you'll get an adjusted, a model price, if you will, on every game. And then have a party. Just bet the game, bet the advantage on the model. You can be in action on every game on the board. Whether you'll win or not, I don't know. But you'll have, a lot of these guys are actually pretty good at this. They'll keep you in action, if nothing else, and you'll end up with the value side on every game. If that's the way you like to bet, go for it. I'm not saying anybody should do things the way I do them. I don't play much, okay? I'm not a splasher. Neither is Bryan. We're low volume guys. That's just our approach. So if you're looking for an opinion on every game, that's the way you should go. And most of them are very inexpensive, by the way. They don't charge you a lot. So I don't know whether we have anybody on the Wager Talk roster that does it. I really don't know. But you can check around and find out, I guess. Or just search around on Twitter or on the web and find somebody who does that style of handicapping where you get breakdowns in every game, and have yourself a blast. But don't ask me for opinions on every game because I don't have them.
Sure. And the information you give out, Dave, is good on the games that you don't have an opinion on. So I was just wanting to address
there's reasons. There's reasons that I'm not betting games. It happens that most games I have reasons not to bet the game. Now, that's fine. That's the way I've been doing things for, it's closing in on a half a century, which is scary. But, if you could do it for this long and show a profit, that puts you in a very unique, very small group. There ain't a lot of people who are in action for 50 years and are still around to talk about it, okay? So maybe my approach isn't so bad.
Respect to that, Dave Cokin. Guys, check him out, WagerTalk.com. Experts page, Dave Cokin. Let's finish it up, guys, for the week. We're 9-3 on the show in best bets, so keeping this good times rolling, Brian and Dave. Let's get after it, guys. I'll start us off here. A game we talked about, my best bet for the show, San Diego Padres, LA Angels. I'm going action on this, guys, which I do on almost all of my bets. Joe Musgrove versus undecided here for the Angels. Bullpen game, that's fine. We're getting plus 175 on the Angels right now. Fade spot on the Padres coming off of the series against the Dodgers. Look, they have a 26 weighted runs created plus number right now in the last 7 days. That's the lowest I've seen in a while here. This lineup is cold, talking about the Padres. And they got Musgrove on the hill. Look, good pitcher overall. But against the Angels, short sample size here in 40 at-bats, they have over a 1,200 team OPS. So they've seen it well out of his hand. I'm betting on this Angels team. We're getting American League lineup at home with the DH. Huge plus price here, plus 175. I got the spot play against the Padres. I'm taking the Angels, plus 175 here. 9-3 on the week for the group. Dave Cokin, a big part of that, 2-0 so far this week. Try to make it 3-0. Dave, where are you going for best bets tonight, buddy?
If I were the Padres, that swag chain that they put around the guy's necks after somebody does something, it hasn't worked. It isn't working lately. You might want to take this chain and smash it and go with something else. Best bet is the one. This is a play for me, so obviously it's the best bet here in the show. Yankees first 5 minus the half run. We'll call it minus 110, although you might find minus 105 out there. Let's ride Garrett Cole and ride against Sean Manaea in the first 5 innings with the Yankees on fire against the Angels, the Oakland A's, who are losers of 5 in a row. I think it's a pretty obvious play to me. Sometimes obvious plays work.
Yeah, the freight train with the Yankees. All right, 2 of the 3 down in the books. Bryan Leonard, finish us off, buddy. Where are you going for best bets tonight?
I want to make one comment about Dave talking about modelers. I follow a few modelers, and I enjoy that. Dave and I basically do the old type of modeling, what I call strike points. There's a game. I'll take a look at a game. For example, we talked about that San Francisco-Atlanta game. It's minus 124 basically across the board right now. If it was minus 110, that would have been my strike point. I would have played Atlanta at that number. I can't play them at 124. And you've got to have those. You've got to know what numbers you're going to play a game at.
Right.
If it's passed up, if you love a team at minus 150, and all of a sudden you got to lay 170, you've got to say, hey, that's past my strike number. I can't bet it anymore. And that's how you become a better handicapper. Everybody would like to have that. I'd love to have action on every game, but you're never going to win doing that. So just my opinion. I'm going to go back to the Washington Mets game. I talked about it earlier. Washington against lefties, a 122 WRC plus over the last 30 games. Mets against righties, a 78 WRC plus. That's a 44% hitting advantage over the last month. Here for Washington, you're getting them at plus 180, and you're getting to go against Rich Hill, who has not pitched well. I think it's a gift, but, obviously we can win 40% of these games and make profit. It won't help our 9-3 record, but in the long run, it will help by playing advantage on an underdog that shouldn't be that high of an underdog.
Hey, that's the same way I'm playing it with the big underdog, Brian. I like it, guys. And in recap, for best bets on the Friday night slate, Angels plus 175 for me. Dave Cokin, Yankees first 5 minus the half a run, minus 105. And Bryan Leonard, another big plus price underdog here. Nationals plus 180. I like it, Brian. So hopefully 2-1, if not 3-0 on the night. Again, guys, 9-3 for the week in best bets. So looking to finish it off strong. Got over 350 people watching live right now, YouTube and Twitter combined. We really appreciate you joining us, guys. And as we're closing it out, you could do us a favor and smash that like button, and feel free to leave a comment below on YouTube if you're watching on replay. So for Bryan Leonard, Dave Cokin, I am Drew Martin. Happy Friday to everybody out there. We'll be back on Monday, same time, same place. Best of luck with your bets until then. Thanks for tuning in.
We've rolled back our football prices. WagerTalk's first full year was 2015.
Ah, shit. I forgot to mention the college football show. Oh, well. Okay.
That football season.
Much appreciated, guys. Take care.
We want to make our season-long packages an extraordinary
Good luck.
value. You can buy a full college football season or full NFL season for only $5.99 each. But if you buy a college football NFL combo from the same handicapper, you pay only $8.99. Looking to mix and match handicappers? We have you covered. Just email support@wagertalk.com for a bundle discount and to create any handicapper combo you can dream up.